Well, my last question, I guess, brings us back to Venice. Anything that you can say at this date, which is April 13th, about the project and what will be seen there?
Yes, it's coming up so fast now, but in the end, Mark has gone through a number of sort of considerations of how to deal with the cinematic presentation in the pavilion, and he's working in collaboration with two architects in friends in New York, Rasuda Leon Design, how to make the pavilion work to give the pavilion more playtime than it has maybe allowed for cinematic works. One thing is we are changing the direction by which people enter the pavilion, which will actually give a lot more surface to where film can be presented. He will be showing 4 works. 3 of them are produced in Toronto and involve the architecture in Toronto. He shot a work at in the Mies van der Rohe's TD Center on the 54th floor, looking down on Bay Street and King and Bay, and then a short documentary that is of a person who lives on the street at the corner of I think it is Queen and Bay, so block from where the TD Center is. And then Nathan Phillips Square. The third film takes place on the ice rink in January. The skaters, using that kind of site as a part of that sort of urban and utopian modernity in urban geography of this space that's very social, where people meet, where people are kind of cut loose from maybe distinct class positions or other social restrictions, to have a place where people can meet freely in this kind of floating world. Walter Benjamin called the skating rink a kind of dream space in the urban fabric. So the works kind of circulate around those questions, and that is, however, so I can't go into them all that much because that would take us a long time, and hopefully by the time we're posting this one will be almost in the in the exhibition. But then that is all coupled with his interest in rear projection, this very sort of old filmic cinematic technique of shooting plates or rear projected kind of almost documentary footage in front of which then an action happens, and this kind of montage is what he has been interested in quite a while, and earlier works kind of led up to questions of that, and they have a lot to do with thinking about urban space and thinking about how we are in urban culture and how cinema and photography shape that experience. So those are the components of the actual film works that are there, and in a sense the transparency of the pavilion and the setting of the pavilion in Venice, which is kind of a tourist destination, in itself replicates certain aspects of the montage principle. It's kind of the staging of a work against the backdrop of a certain architecture, that architecture against a certain backdrop with Venice that kind of brings up certain questions about how we are, where we are, and as particular modern moments of transportation, travel, cinema, photography. So those are kind of some of the key, I think, reference points or anchor points for his exploration or for the project at the Pavilion.
Thank you.
Thanks.